Hey everybody, it is LSID932 on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining me. We are here for episodes 5. So let's get into it. It's either going to be a whole lot of fire or it's going to be a whole lot of nothing. But it's a whole lot of fire. So episode 5, we start with Kim and Thomas. They are returning from the party on vacation. She, asks to talk to him, and she says she's comparing him to her exes and loyalty is important to her. And he's like, I'm the most loyal person here. Put a pin in that, y'all. We're going to talk about that later. She says, no, we need to be united in public. Things are great in the pods, and now because of, one thing, he's like her ex. She's mad. Kim would rather be around the girls. He doesn't like it. He said he would never let the person he loves feel bad, and he would never leave her in an emotional state. So Kim says, maybe you manage your emotions better. I said, oh my, no sympathy, Kim. Oh my, no sympathy. Thomas, you're going to need to handle your emotions yourself. But I know because I'm kind of like a Kim. I'm kind of like that. Those emotions do me in. I need to process first before I could dive into emotions. But Kim, that was cold. If it was edited exactly like that. She's sharing her doubts as a woman. He's like, wait a minute, I'm sharing my doubts as a man. And she is thoroughly disappointed. He wonders, how will it be, in the real world if this impacts them already? Now, Kim goes back to the party. I said, did she really go back to the party? Or is this production playing with us, making us think she went back to the party? So Cynthia and Jonathan show up. Cynthia shares that they had their first fight. She shares, about her not wearing heels. And y'all, we see her in flip-flops. I said, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. Why are we in flip-flops at our first event get-together? Flip-flops? Is that as low as you can go? We are not limboing. We're not seeing how low you can go. Jonathan, I hope you're happy. And if you ain't happy, I'm sorry. So she does share the details with the ladies about the fight, and they saying it's, his male ego. She said she understood initially. And, Sabrina said, you should be yourself. You should be comfortable to be yourself. And Cynthia says this could be the start of issues. So she asked him if this was going to be the start of a toxic relationship. Now he passes by and does a little eavesdropping. She's like, don't eavesdrop us. Don't eavesdrop on us. And she said, really, this is where the disconnect is happening with their communication. So Charles and Jonathan do go to talk. Jonathan tells Charles exactly what happened, but he's harping on she didn't consider his feelings, that they are both strong personalities and they don't back down. He said he doesn't want a relationship full of conflict. I said, consider your feelings, sir. How can she consider your feelings when you don't share your feelings? You said it didn't matter what she wore. That was okay for her to wear it. Now, all of a sudden, consider my feelings. Well, what were your feelings? I can't consider what is not there. So, we have the next day, and the song is A Brighter Day. I hope it is. I hope it is. Cynthia and Jonathan, they share that they had a good talk, and they're really relaxed, and they are now enjoying their vacation. Chloe and Alex, she shows that, he's doing yoga, and it's kind of shaky. I don't know if he's nervous or whatnot. Vanmi and Sabrina, she makes, a heart in the heart with the initials in the heart on their fogged up glass. And I'm like, what temperature is the air conditioning in that room? I don't think they heated it up enough for it to be really foggy. But I'm wondering, what is the air conditioning like in that room that the whole double glass window is actually fogged up? All I was like, the whole sliding door is sweating. He does laugh about it, which was really, really cute. Kim and Thomas, she said, today it's better. They had a constructive conversation. She admits to being wrong, okay? And she says, she was harsh because she was hurt. He understood her. Maybe he said he took too much of it to heart. He needs passion in his daily life, and she brings that. We have Tatiana and Yannick. They are cuddled in the bed. She says, do you feel good with me? He's like, yes, he feels very well. And I'm like, is that really the correct translation? I got to ask my French folks in the chat. Is that the correct translation because I wasn't feeling that that's a proper response, but that's just me. So he says he feels emotional because they made a breakthrough and they shared their past. He spoke of his mother and he doesn't speak of her often, and he never knew his father. His mom had him young, and as a single mother, she did struggle. He says his mother is a strong woman who raised him, and he sees the strength from his mother in Tatiana. Now, they both have courage because life has been hard, and it is hard with single mothers. And he does tear up. She comes out to the pool where he is. He asks, how do you feel about seeing me cry? And she is glad that he's able to share this emotion with her. She says she is committed to being the best wife in the world and on the planet with him. And he's like, why? And she's like, because I love you. She's happy the experiment is working for them and to tell all single mothers it's okay. Don't stop believing in love. And I'm like, are you trying to be the poster child and an advocate for single mothers? Every time I hear Tatiana is single mother this, single mother that. You're not only a single mother. That does not encapsulate who you are. So my question is this production? Are they always clipping out the points where she says she's a single mother, or is this intentional? So we see Kim and Thomas. They have a meal. She loves the restaurant and shares that she goes there in Paris all the time. And she can't wait to tell her friends that she went to the restaurant in Morocco. Okay. Tom says, Kim is a princess and she's used to dining at fancy places like this restaurant. And that beautiful things are a part of his life too, but he experiences them differently. I understand you said beautiful, Thomas, but is it expensive too? Is it beautiful and expensive? Because there's beauty in everything, but is it expensive in your daily life? So she teases him that he made a sandwich out of the bread and the butter. And I was like, girl, leave him alone, please. Leave him alone. But she can't wait to get back to Paris to, and stop, where his daughter is. And I'm like, okay, it looks like he wanted to talk about it later, but she's like, hey, let's talk about it now. He said, hey, I'll be in Paris 3/4 of the time. She says she knows. He has to travel in order to see his daughter 1 week a month. And she is stressed about meeting his daughter and whether the daughter will like her. He says, hey, she will like you because she likes clothes, she likes style, and they will get along. Okay. So he needs to make sure his daughter is a part of this and to include her in all of this. But he's worried, but not scared to meet her family. Tatiana and Yannick says he has lived with someone before, and she said her real concern is managing work, being a mom, and a relationship. He understands she will be tired at the end of the day because being a mom is a job too. She also works on Saturdays. And I'm like, young lady, how are we going to fit a relationship into this schedule? How are we going to fit in a husband into this schedule? So he asks, when you have a business, you have to commit to spending time with your person. And so she's like, hey, we can do it on Tuesdays. I think she said at 4:30. Yannick says she's busy, but he'll wait for her. He will be the desperate man wife. I said, no, sir. Are you trying to live a soft life? What are you doing? Because it sounds like you want to do nothing and just wait for her. I'm sure you have a job. I know you have a job. They said you have a job. But it sounds like you want to be sitting at home eating bonbons, okay, and waiting on her. The song they play is Wale Plans, and they dance together. And I don't know if this is also boosting up the whole black love thing, but I do love that song, okay? I do love Wale. Hey, can't go wrong with Wale. So Cynthia and Jonathan, they have dinner. She's in her PJs, though. And he's dressed in his usual t-shirts and slacks, but he's not in his PJs. And I found that very odd. He said he's really happy how the day went, and he starts to hum. Cynthia says, stop humming, because when you hum when you eat, you annoy me. I said, girl, wait a minute. He just was like, we had a happy day. He's like, you can't control it, okay? You can't control how an artist expresses themselves. She's like, don't justify it. Just stop it. I said, girl, you sound mean, Cynthia. You're sounding like the mean girls you're hanging out with. I'm sorry. He's just humming with his food. It's not like he's chewing with his food with his mouth open and the food pouring out. He can't hum. Okay. She says, she asks, are you friends with your exes? He's like, friends? No, because that's unhealthy. But as he kept in touch with some who are married now, he was invited to their wedding. I said, Jonathan, we double talking. We double talking. Because you had to be friends with them before the wedding to even get an invitation, to even keep in touch, to know they're getting married and get an invitation and then show up at the wedding. So, sir, they may be married now, but maybe your belief is you can be friends with an ex. Maybe you just don't have any right now. So he says that erasing someone from your life who you've known or been with for 3 months, but you've known them for 5 years. She's like, that's context. That's not answering the question. She doesn't care about context. She says, out of the 200 guests, how many will be his exes? He said none, because it'd be disrespectful. Cynthia, you're asking the question wrong, girl. He is able to duck, dodge, and dive because of how you asking the question. He ain't going to invite an ex to the wedding. That doesn't mean they still don't communicate and talk. He says he won't because it's disrespectful. She said, that's not the point. Then what is the point, Cynthia? I'm missing the point. Do exes as friends exist in his life? He says, you're misinterpreting things. I said, are we mansplaining, Jonathan? I'm lobbying, like, between both of them, like I'm at the dinner table, and I'm like, y'all need to get it together, because I really don't like this. She says she needs a clear answer, and I'm saying, yes, I need a clear answer, and I'm saying, Cynthia, I need a clear question. So he starts to speak, and she's like, may I speak? I said, girl, wait a minute. You asked him the question, you want a clear answer. He's giving context. You're giving hypothetical, and it's lost in translation. She says, you don't have a friend that's a woman that you previously dated? He said, no. Finally, a clear question. Finally. She says, oh, okay. Why wasn't it clear before? I said, was the question clear, Cynthia? Was the question clear? She's asking questions to trap him, and he's answering so he doesn't get caught up in a trap. That's what's happening here. There are two people dueling, okay? They are fencing with each other, and somebody don't want to lose a point. He says he will be transparent. He promised her in the pods. Okay, that's who he is. And I'm like, sir, she's still trying to get to know you. Even though you say transparent, she has not seen it in action. Okay? So he says, in the pods, he said he would never put her in a situation that he wouldn't want to be put in as well. She points out, she wanted his opinion on the subject. Opinion, Cynthia, and reality are two different things. He may have a philosophical opinion, but that might not be the state of his life. Oh, she said she would simply have told her point of view. And he said, what is that? She says, no, there's no friends as exes. That is the end of discussion. No exes are her friends. And I'm like, wait a minute. What do you mean end of discussion? You can't just say that and then say no. He's going to ask some questions, which he said, oh, you just jealous? She's like, excuse me? And I said, ooh, please, everybody, let's keep it calm, keep it cute. We started off dinner saying we had a great day. Can we end with a great day? He said, I was just joking. But she don't find it funny, Jonathan. Okay? She says the ring that she has from him does help her trust him more. And I'm like, okay. That sounds like real cut up production. So he says she treats him like a child, preventing him from being himself. In the pod, she was calm. Now she's condescending and hard. In the pod, she was trying to lure you in, sir. Now there's no more need for seduction because she got the ring. Or is she still mad about the heel situation because you're not allowing her to be herself? It could be either way. Either way, she is mad at you, sir. So he said he's tired of her and her defensiveness and has serious doubts. And he's like, in the end, we do agree with everything. She's like, with great difficulty. I said, Cynthia, you ain't giving this man an inch. She says she despises when you answer with something else, and he's scared of giving the wrong answer. And when she doesn't feel assured in answers, she puts up a wall to protect herself. And I understand that. But also you got to leave room and allow him to answer. And the way he answers tells you a whole lot, including the words he uses to answer. So the next day we see Chloe and Alex. They're at the beach, waiting for the other couples to gather. We see Yannick tells Kim, what up? And she's like, what does that mean? And I said, no. Are we that posh that we don't know what what's up means? Yo, what's up? Kim, I'm concerned. What's up? Julie and Chloe go talk, and Julie says, hey, we had a disagreement. We have been sleeping in separate rooms, and Chloe is shocked, like we were. Julie says that they, have super affectionate with each other, but it's weird because she's in love with him, but no physical attraction. And Chloe, like us, is clutching her pearls, saying, oh, that's shocking, and that sucks. Julie says that he just wants to sleep next to her, and she can't do that. She needs time. And he understood that. But she needs time, for the love and the reality of who he is to catch up. And I said, girl, send that man home. Send him home. You love him. You don't want him to even lay down next to you. Send that man home. You don't like him enough to look past his looks. I'm like, you're calling him an elf and a troll without calling him an elf and a troll. You are treating him like he's an elf or a troll. That's what we're seeing. So Chloe, says, it's your timeline and you have every right. Yes, Chloe, she has every right to say, I don't want you in this bed. You are giving her advice, but are you understanding the situation? Maybe you need to challenge her thinking a little bit more. That's just my thoughts. You put your thoughts in the comments. So the ladies gather, they spill the tea, on intimacy. And so Brina says that, they're taking things slow. They're, being good. And the way he moves and shakes his hips, it should be good because they have chemistry. And Tatiana does not want to be disappointed when she eventually does get married. Kim says, when you want something real, it takes time. Tatiana shares that they take baths together. And she will look when he showers. And the girls are like, but wait a minute, we got 2 bathrooms. And Tatiana's like, yeah, we got 2 bathrooms too, but we're using the same one. So again, this is another form of intimacy. It's like you don't have to be intimate to have intimacy. She's just like, we share the same bathroom. We're sharing common room. We're sharing our area. So yes, she could be flirtatious when he's showering. You could look at the merchandise too. I see you, Tatiana. And then, you could be flirtatious. And as she said, we're taking baths together. That also could be something that's very flirtatious. So the ladies all say, well, maybe when we go back, we'll ask our men to watch them in the shower. I said, ladies, please do. I would love to know their reactions. So I noticed Chloe wasn't around when the ladies were talking, and we find out why. Because she's talking to Charles. And Charles just wants to know how Julie is feeling. Is she okay? Is she fine? Chloe's like, yeah, she's fine. She just needs to take her time. And he is not going to rush her. Okay? He said he feels great, and, no part of her emotions does she not make him feel great. And Chloe's like, hey, it's only been 3 days. And he's like, I know that. But we don't feel like it's been 3 days. We're all different. So Alex walks up, that's Chloe's fiance. And, Chloe, is like looking to him to answer Charles's question when Charles say, well, how long would it take Alex to know someone the way he knows Chloe? And Alex said 2 years. I said, daggone it. 2 years. Charles said Julie has shut down and it's been she said it's been 48 hours, kind of chill, calm down, but he feels differently. He feels like they've known each other longer than just 48 hours. And he needs to know that she's okay and she's feeling good. Sir, she's not. And you sense it. This is your body. This is your essence telling you she not okay. Y'all not okay. He said he would like to share a bed, share the shower, but he knows to be patient because she deserves it. Now they all have dinner together, and Yannick brings up that real life, we heading right into it. Tomorrow you're going to be doing groceries by yourself. There's no longer going to be staff and wait service, taking care of you hand over foot. And Julie says, hey, she needs to get back to reality. And Yannick says he welcomes it with open arms. Now the fellas gather without Yannick, okay? They gather without him. Jonathan shares that it's been difficult, that he can't really talk and express his opinion. She doesn't ask him any personal questions. She just talks about herself. Now, okay, Jonathan, hold on. Maybe she wants you to learn more about her, so she's just sharing. But there needs to be balance. So when she's sharing, do you volunteer and share too? Maybe she wants to learn more about you, or maybe she don't give a daggone. But then if she didn't give a daggone, why is she sharing any more with you? So Van asks a very important question. Van Mee says, can't share or you don't want to share. He says that she cuts him off a lot and says, let me finish my sentence. He says he is very gentle and understanding, and in the pause they were both able to speak and listen to each other. And now it's not like that. He does not want, to write it off, but wonders about if they are compatible. He does feel ill at ease. He does not feel good around her. He does not feel good telling her because she's defensive and hot-tempered. Sir, you have a temper too. We kind of saw it. We kind of saw it rise up. A little bit taller than you. Heck, it even taller than Cynthia in her heels. We saw your temper too, sir. But he says she's always confrontational. She's disdainful, and he does not want that. France. Hello? My friends in France. My friends out there. Please, tell me if this translated properly, because I'm thinking he's calling her angry black woman. And before I go off the deep end on him, I need to know if this is lost in translation or if he is calling her an angry black woman. I need to know, because I'm at the point of he calling her angry black woman. He says he is exhausted and he feels run down. Now the men try to comfort him and he says, careful, she's going to be looking over here. I don't want her seeing this. So it sounds like he is concerned more about perception and acts like a wounded partner. I don't know. Is he doing this for the boy so he gets the kind of like the victim role? Or is he being very, very insulting to her? If he's acting really well. Charles said, this is just the beginning and you're already under pressure. This is not good for you. He said he never felt so neglected. That's Jonathan saying that. He says in his mind, there's no next phase. She's also insulted him and he's never had to tolerate that before. Cynthia said it's not always easy. They do clash. And when should she stop and not hurt his feelings? They have strong personalities and they fight and it's causing tension. We see Yannick and Tatiana talking and he says, hey, they can still live at his place. He'll still live at his place. And, try living in each place and then decide. She's like, there's no living apart after marriage. Okay. He needs to live in her area because of her son's school. And he's sarcastic and he's like, you are sparing me making a decision. I'm like, she's sparing you from having an opinion. Because he asked the question, where will we live? Tatiana says, it will take her an hour to get him to school if she has to live where Yannick is. And he's like, okay, that is a condition. She's like, it's not cool because she has a child. She can't easily adjust. And he's like, why is it so fast? He has to see if the city she's trying to force him to be in is going to work. And forcing him will never work. It feels like it's only one direction. Now I understand. It's like, but when would she be okay with changing and moving cities? And I wonder if it's family support. I gotta say this, Tatiana, when you get married, it's not just your decision. Yannick is a part of this marriage too. That is your husband. He may make the decision that we can't live here. We can't live here. Or maybe he gets a job out of the country. So in all of this, what I'm saying is there can be a compromise. We can discuss it. Okay, we can discuss this. Maybe we don't change schools or move until after the school year. We don't interrupt his current, school calendar. She says, we need to get it together. Okay. He says, hey, you can't force it one way. And she's looking pissed and annoyed. She's, is sipping her wine and says, we're done. We're done with this conversation. Change the subject, please. And I said, girl, you can't run from it. You can't run from it. He says she's worried, that her son is a problem. And it's like, why is it a problem? He's not a problem. It's a challenge, definitely, but it's not a problem. Yannick said, your son is not a problem. It's just a question. He doesn't have the answer. He wants to explore this topic. Now, he wants to basically troubleshoot this, come up with ideas, not decide now, but certainly discuss it. And she said, but I don't have a choice either. Yes, you do, girl. Yes, you do, Tatiana. You do have a choice. As a mother, you have a choice that you can pick up and go. Now, the change may not be easy, but you can change. I don't know why you think that your life is stagnant because you have a son. You built a business, so your life is definitely not stagnant. But I could see where you can see that, okay, I have to be here because my business is here and my son is thriving here. But you could certainly listen to Yannick because it would tell you a whole lot about him and how he incorporates your son in future plans, in thinking. It would help you decide if he's the one for you. The song they play is You Thought You Could Fool Me. I said, no, no, no. So Yannick said that this conversation has opened his eyes, that despite all the love, it is what it is. He just wants a little flexibility. We see Julie and Charles. He jokes over dinner. She laughs. He says they can handle the next step. She needs someone who can calm her down, and how to communicate. And I'm like, calm you down? That's not his job. You need to calm yourself down. We haven't seen her flip other than mind your business. And I'm wondering if she's going to turn that on Charles. He still wants to marry her. She's like, that's sweet. And I'm like, yeah, does she still want to marry him? But she does compliment him and says she loves him so much. And he has proved that she can trust him. So are you sleeping in bed tonight, Charles? Chloe and Alex, she is talking and he is giving short answers. I'm like, Alex, can we talk? Can we say more than yes? Yeah, that's good. She's like, she's forcing in conversation. She's at da 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 da. She pauses. He doesn't talk. Da 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 da. She feels like he is a little distant, and she asks, "Do you need space?" She wants him to be honest and sheer. He's like, "Good idea." That's about as long as a sentence as he says. Then he doesn't talk, y'all. He goes quiet. Yeah, that's a good idea, to be honest. And quiet. She shares. He sips his wine. He says, you give me more than I give you. Does he really give enough back? Now she walks away, says, I'm not feeling that well. And he doesn't go after her initially. He's just playing with the light on the bar. And she's like, screw this. And she is crying. Later on, he does walk up to her. And she's like, I'm not here to chase anybody. And he says, is my affection enough? Am I giving you enough? She says, sometimes it's enough. And it's hard to know where she stands with him. She's like, tell me if you have doubts sooner rather than later. He agrees that they're a good match. She's more beautiful than he thought. And it takes him time to show affection. And don't think that he saw his parents being affectionate with each other at all. But he doesn't feel right in saying, I love you after a few weeks. Love does scare him. She scares him too. And they do hug each other. But she had to ask for that hug. She's like, can I get a hug? So they kind of understand. I kind of understand where he's coming from. My parents was never overly affectionate. Now I'm giving you all this affection. But I don't know if it's enough. If you need more, can I give you more? I understand it. But sir, while you're swirling around in your head, you're missing out. Cynthia and Jonathan. She's at the bar crying. I said again, we had another argument. She says they can't communicate. It's toxic for both of them. And she's exhausted. He says there's conflict every night and his tolerance has reached their limit. The song they play is 'Cause I'm Out for Blood. He said he can't go on like this anymore. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel.